Hello, Monroe School District. Welcome to day 2 of taking the fear out of Canvas training. So here we go. We have a lot of great stuff to cover today. Let's start by, first of all, going out to Canvas. So just a reminder, I'm on our district website, and I'm going to head over to staff. And from staff, I'm going to go down to online resources. And from here, I'm going to scroll down to Canvas, and I'm going to go ahead and click this link. And this is going to automatically log me in with my school district account. So again, just be really, just make sure that you are signed into Google with your school account and not a personal account to make sure that we make this all work for us. So, okay, so now that we've opened Canvas, I have a task for you right off the bat. So one of the things that we need to do in order to document this course is we're going to create a Google Doc that we're going to put some task assignments on, and then on Friday, you are going to pose as a student in Canvas and upload that document so you know what it means to be able to upload a Google document as an assignment in Canvas. So we're going to go ahead for task number 1. I'm going to have you pause this video, and then I want you to open a new tab, and then go out to, on your new browser, I want you to go ahead, click on the waffle, and you're going to open a doc. We're going to be creating a new Google Doc, so we'll go ahead and open that, or any way that you get there. And if you would go ahead and title this document with your name, and then please put a comma or a colon or something, and then the title of this. So, taking the fear out of Canvas. And once you have that title in there, if you don't know about this quick little trick in Google, you can go ahead and click up here where it says Untitled in the title. If you click up there, it's going to take that first line and it's going to automatically mark that document for you with that same title, so that now it's easy for you to find in your drive. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and head back here. So we're going to go ahead and pause for a moment so that you can go create a new document, and make sure you have your name and the title of this course on there. So I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, welcome back. So I immediately have a second task for you. And so one of the things that we're going to hope to do through this course, in particular with our students at home, doing work at home, is how can we integrate some hands-on learning into what they're doing as well. It's super important that students don't spend all day in front of a screen. And so where we're providing them online content, how can we also help provide them some hands-on learning to go with it? And so we're going to head back to your document. And here is your next task. And this is a STEM integration task right now. I would like for you to find a blank piece of paper, and I want you to spend 2 minutes, and I want you to write down on that piece of paper in 2 minutes, how many STEM careers can you think of, or let's just say careers, how many careers can you think of that use math as a part of that career? So if you would, like I say, just 2 minutes, this is, I'm not grading you on anything about what you write down, but I just want you to kind of start thinking a little bit about STEM. So if you would do that, please, and then after you have spent 2 minutes creating that document, I'm going to have you take a picture of that piece of paper, and I'm going to have you add it into this document. Now, there's several reasons why we're doing this. One is to document your coursework, but the second piece is that when your students are at home, there are going to be many opportunities, I think, for you to be able to assign them something such as drawing a picture or doing something where they're using their hands doing something, and you're going to want them to take a picture. And that could be even creating something with stuff they have at home, and they take a picture of what they've made on their table at home. So the next skill I want to talk to you about is how do you take a picture with a Chromebook and be able to insert that into a Google document. So we're going to use this piece of paper that you just created, and we're going to use that as the sample. So once you're in your Google document, you're going to head up to the Insert, and then right here under Image, there's several different ways that you can insert an image, but if you're taking a live picture, you're going to want to head down to Camera. And if you click on Camera, it is going to ask you to be able to use your camera for this access, and a Chromebook will do the same thing. So you're going to go ahead and click allow. And once you have clicked allow, you're going to see that your camera is activated. And then you're going to hold up your picture, or you're just going to pick up your laptop or your Chromebook and adjust it. And then you're going to go ahead and click on that. And you'll notice that what happens is it shows this picture up top here. And then you're going to click insert, and it inserts that picture right into your document. So it's really as simple as that for how do you insert a picture into your document. So again, for your second task, what I would like for you to do is to spend 2 minutes on a piece of paper, write down all the careers that come to mind quickly that use the concept of math. And then I would like for you to take a picture of that document and insert it into this new document that we just created. And I will see you back in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. So again, I just want to chat with you for just a quick second about the intentional integration of STEM, particularly STEM careers, anywhere we can. Recently, we worked with the Snohomish STEM Alliance with 8th graders in our district, and they did a survey and found that in 8th grade, only about 20 to 30% of 8th graders really even knew what a STEM career was, or were even interested in going into a STEM career field when they left high school or college. And the statistics show that most jobs are going to have some sort of STEM component in the future. And so it's really important that wherever we can start integrating STEM concepts into the learning that we're providing to our students as early as kindergarten. So when you're teaching math, or when you're teaching English, when you're teaching whatever subject it is that you teach, the purpose of this document where you were thinking about what careers do I know about in math is how could you, when students are learning to add, how could you just throw in, architects need to use this when they're computing this, this, and this, or just the idea of just putting a career out there for kids just to start thinking. You're just putting a thought into their head, but you're making a connection to real life, but you're also really starting to let our students know about STEM careers that are out there in STEM fields. So as this week goes on, we're going to do a little bit more with STEM components and how we can add STEM components into our online learning for our students as well. And so that's where the STEM credits come from taking this class. All right, let's go ahead and head back to Canvas. So if you'll go ahead and head back over to this tab. Now I have, there's a couple of different things we're going to do today. The first one is that I'm going to have you create a sandbox course. And in that sandbox course, this is where you can just kind of play around with the tools. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, and nobody else is going to see those. But let me talk to you just for a moment about how classes are created in Canvas. So on your dashboard, you may be looking at different tiles, and on these tiles, you may be looking at classes that you have taken before. And so you may see those classes on there. You may also see classes that have been pushed out to you that have your students in them. And that is because Canvas integrates with our Skyward system. And so Heather has spent, bless her heart, she has spent a lot of time uploading all of our classes into Canvas. And so now all of our K-12 classes that are in Skyward should now be available in Canvas. And so that's where you're going to see a tile probably that represents a class or classes that you teach. And so that's how that happens, is through Skyward. And so any kind of changes, if you have students in there and you're like, well, that student moved to a different class, or that student isn't here, or if there's adjustments that need to be made, that is something that has to happen through the Skyward system. And so if a student leaves and they are removed from Skyward, it may take 24 to 48 hours for those changes to take place. So there's a little bit of patience there, and that's because in the back end, all of this comes from Skyward. And but because of that integration with Skyward, we don't have to hand input students. And also the super fantastic piece is that because of that integration, we can push all of our Canvas grades right into Skyward with a click of a button. So you aren't having to transfer your grades into Skyward. You can do it really quick and easily. Okay, so on this dashboard, again, this is what you're going to see on your homepage. Click dashboard whenever you get lost, if you're like, oh, I'm not sure what's going on, go ahead and click on that dashboard. I do that quite often, and I head back to my dashboard. But for today, like I mentioned, we're going to create a new class for you. So if you scroll down to your to-do list, oh boy, my picture's right in the way. On the bottom right-hand side, you're going to see a little button that says Start a New Course. So I'm going to have you go ahead and click on that. And you are creating a course. And this is different than those Skyward courses. This is one that you're creating and you're making this your own. You can do whatever you want with it. Right now, you will be the only person who's going to be in this course. So if you would please go ahead and title this your name and just call it Sandbox. And that way, that's just kind of like your area to go do things and try things out. If you're creating a course, there's lots of different licenses. You can keep this private. You could make it public domain if you decide to create a course and you want to share it. Canvas allows us that opportunity. And then you're just going to click on this Create Course. And as soon as you click on that Create Course, it is going to add that course for you now into onto your tile. So now you should see that on here. So I've done that in the past. So this time I created a course to Deanne. And if you click on that and open it, this is what you're going to see. So I forgot I should have you pause so that you can go do that. So we're going to go ahead and pause for a moment and let me walk you through again one more time. You're going to be on your dashboard, and on the sidebar, you're going to scroll down until you see Start a New Course. You're going to click on that, Start a New Course, and then you're going to type in your name, Sandbox, and then Create Course. So why don't you head out and do that, and we'll see you back here in just a moment. All right, welcome back. So now you have a tile that you have created. Let me share just a couple of thoughts with you on this. If you are a specialist and you need to see students for some special items right now, you could create a course and then you can add those students into that class and you can create that content in that class. If you're a classroom teacher and you don't need to do that because your classes have already been created. So this would be more like a tool for you to be able to try different things out. All right, so now that you're on your tile, I want to show you a couple of different things on the tile. So you have these three little dots at the top, and these are some things you can change. If you would like to change the color of your tile, you can click down here and you can color code it a different way. Once you've done that and you apply, now it has changed it to that color. If you would like to nickname your course, you can nickname your course. So for example, if you have several sections of the same thing, you might want to change it to first period, second period, third period. It's not going to change the original name because the original name needs to stay the same for Skyward purposes, but you can attach a nickname so it's easier for you to be able to see that course when you're looking at your tiles. Some other things I want to draw your attention to. You'll notice at the bottom of your tile that here's some quick little links. So if you were to click on this or hover your mouse over this, this is going to show you some different things. So these are assignments. If I wanted to just go right to assignments, I could click on this and it would take me right to my assignments tab. We have a discussion tool within Canvas. We'll talk about that another day. And then this is for your files. And so those are quick little links. The one that I think you're going to find probably the most helpful right now is that this little icon right here represents announcements. And we're going to talk about announcements tomorrow and the power of these announcements for you in particular with online learning at home. So when you see that icon and you click on that, that's going to take you directly to an announcement. So this is how you can announcement to your kids. They just click on that icon. They don't have to go into your class or anything. And there's the announcement put right out there for them. All right, so those are a couple of things about your dashboard and about the tiles on your dashboard. How about if you take a moment, let's pause, and you can take a look at those different features, but more importantly, if you want to add a nickname or if you want to change the color of your tile. In this case, since you're using your sandbox, I would just play around with it just a tiny bit, and then you'll know what to do when you're working with your other classes. So I'll see you back here in just a moment. All right, welcome back. So I hope you found that to be pretty easy to be able to manipulate your tiles just a tiny bit. In a minute, I will show you, you'll notice that on some of mine that there are pictures on here. So I'll share with you in a minute how you can change the picture on there. Let's go ahead though for right now, let's open up one of your classes. So you're going to go ahead and click on it one time, and then this is going to open it up. Now, when you open it up, you're going to see you don't have any content in here. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is we are going to import a template into your class. And that template is going to have things already pre-made for you. So there will be a line that will say, click to add your name here. Click to tell us a little bit about yourself. And so it's going to make it so easy for you to be able to enter the information that you need. So that's coming tomorrow. But for today, I wanted to talk to you while you still have kind of a blank slate about some of the features that we have available over here. This is called your course navigation bar. And your course navigation bar, there's a lot of tabs in here, and it can look pretty overwhelming at first. So we're going to talk about that. Let me show you, this is kind of a new feature recently with Canvas. If this is kind of like, feels like, okay, I have too much here, and then I've got stuff over here, it's just overwhelming to look at and I feel overwhelmed. Let's do this. If you click on these three little lines over here, it takes away those course navigation tools. And so if you're working in Canvas and you're on the page you need to be and you don't need to see any of that, take it away. And then it feels a lot cleaner, and I think it's going to probably make it feel a little bit easier for you to use. But let's go ahead and let's open that back up again, because this is what I want to talk to you about today. So these are all of the features that are housed within each class in Canvas. There's an announcement. This is one that you are definitely going to want to use, in particular for our students. If you want to announce a Zoom meeting, if you want to say, hey, this is what we're going to do today, if you want to make an announcement that just says, hey, good morning. So tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit about the announcements. Assignments. This is where if you want to quickly go out to a page where you have housed all of your assignments. Discussions. This is a tool available in Canvas. You don't have to use it, but you could ask a question and then you can push that out to students and then they respond and then they can see that as a whole class, the answers to that discussion question. Students can see grades. You can see grades by clicking here. We're going to come back to people because that's a really important one. Pages is a way of creating files and documents within your class. Here's your files for the class. You can add a syllabus. I'm going to skip over a couple of these. We have quiz options. Everything kind of works in Canvas best through a module system. And so that's where over here on the right-hand side, you're going to see create a module. That's how you could create, I suppose if you're looking at it, a different way to say that is let's create a unit. And so this is how you would create a new unit, and then you can house everything underneath that unit. And then when students go out into the Canvas class, they see all of those pieces as a unit, and so do you. So that's kind of the basics of that. Conferences, collaborations, these are advanced tools, chat that you have options for, attendance. A lot of these we aren't going to use right now, so just ignore that they're there. At some point when you get really familiar and comfortable with Canvas and you want to try some other things, those are options for later on down the road. You will see that there's Google Drive and Office 365. That's because those are integrated into Canvas. You will probably never use them from this bar over here from your navigation bar. Britannica School, we're going to take a look at that today, and we're also going to take a look at the Studio tool today. And so those are a couple of things. I also have a settings underneath here, and of course it's hidden under my toolbar, so I'm just going to have to get rid of that. And settings is really important. So that just kind of walks you through a tiny bit what your class navigation bar is. You will notice next to some of these where you have the line through the eyeball, that is because these are things that will not be visible to students. You see everything, but you can choose how many of these tools are available for students to be able to see or be able to use in your classroom. And I would suggest that fewer are better. So we're going to talk about that today and how you can go in and make some adjustments with that. So first thing, let's go ahead and head down to this tool called Settings. This is settings for this particular class. You have these in each of your different classes. And so if you do something to one class, you have to go in and do it to the other classes as well. It doesn't automatically update all of your classes. It just does it one at a time. So these are your these are your setting options, and you will notice that across the top you have several different tabs. You are not going to use all of these, and right now we're going to use very few of these, but I want to draw your attention to just a couple of them. So in the course details, right here, you will notice that here's a choose image. So remember the tile that was on your dashboard, and I said in a little bit I'll show you how to choose an image to put on that tile. This is where you're going to do that. You can also come in and you can change your different things here. Please don't change your name here. The only thing you should ever be changing is on your tile page, you can add a nickname. So any of the rest of this stuff that you see, and you may not see everything I do, I apologize about that because I have admin privileges. Sometimes I have more things than you do. But here's the thing we can do is we can change the image. So let me show you how to do this really quickly. So choose an image. If you have an image that you want to upload from your computer, you can do that. Or you can click on these are copyright free images. So let's see, if I wanted to put a computer on as a picture for my home screen, I can click on here and I have several different options. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And now that's going to be the image. If I click on these three things, I can remove it. If I'd rather not have that one, I change my mind, or I come back at a later date. As always, just a reminder that in Canvas, you have to save everything you change. So at the bottom, update course details. And now I have changed that picture. So now when I go back out to my dashboard, and the class that I'm working in is my DN class, and you're going to notice there's that picture there. I can come back if I don't like the overlay. I can come back and change that color to a different one if I like, and apply it, and now it changes that. So you can change your picture that way. Again, let's go ahead. We're going to open up the class. Once I've opened up the class, I notice I have over here, this is my course navigation bar. And if I scroll way to the bottom, I'm going to go to settings, and I want course details to be selected, and there's a place to change my image. So how about if you take a moment, and why don't you go out and change that image for us? Okay. I have lost my pause button and I don't know how to find it again. So you're going to have to pause your screen, and here I am back again. Okay. So now that you have changed that detail, let's go ahead and let's move to the next piece I want to show you, and that's the navigation tab. This is the only other one in settings right now that you're going to care about. The navigation, this is where in your course navigation bar over here, this is what is going to show up for students or not show up for students. And so you can see there's a really long list of items. And so I want to show you a couple of things. First of all, outcomes. Kids don't need to see outcomes. So if you click it, you're just going to drag it down, and you're going to drag it all the way down to the bottom of the page, and you're going to see a different section down here. These are items down here that are disabled from students, so students don't get to see those. Some other ones, so you probably aren't going to be using a lot of these tools right now, so you can drag them down and you can get rid of them so that you have a small list for students to be able to see. Now, when we push the template course out to you, this will already be done for you. And so we have already decided ahead of time what we think you might want your students to be able to see. But if there is something that you want your students to see and it's not showing up, this is where you can come down and you can move this back up to where students can see it. So an example of one of those is the Zoom. And on Friday, you had a Bits and Bytes newsletter that came out that talked about the Zoom feature. And so please look at that so you can learn how to use that tool. But if you click on the Zoom, and now we're going to drag it up here into this, into our navigation bar up here. And now students are going to be able to see the Zoom tool, and so will you. So now you can be able to use this tool in Canvas with your students. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and pause your video, You can play around with that for a couple of minutes and move things in and out. Again, this is your sandbox course. And so whatever you do, it doesn't matter. Nobody else is seeing this but you. So, so if you go ahead and pause the video and take a moment to look at that. And since I can't pause my video anymore, I lost my toolbar. Welcome back. Okay. While you're here in your navigation or if you're in course details, anytime you're in your settings, you're going to see on the right-hand side, you're going to have a few other options. We aren't going to go into most of these, except there is one I want to show you, and that is the student view. So there are so many times in Canvas where I'm creating something and I want to know, how does this look to the student? Are they seeing what I want them to see, or what does this look like? So that's where, go into settings. There's two places you can see this. So if you go into settings and click on student view, this is going to open up for you. You'll notice this pink bar around here. This tells you you're in a student view. So now this is what students will see. And so right now there isn't any content, so they see no content. Right now you can see on the class navigation bar, these are the items that they see. So they don't see a lot because we played around with that and we move things in and out. I would make this a lot smaller even. But this is what the students will see when they open up your course. So when you're finished looking, you can leave student view and it takes you back to your home page. Now on your home page, if you scroll over on the right hand, on your sidebar on the right, you're going to notice also in your home page, this is where you're going to see student view also. So there's two different places that you can access the student view. When you're in your class, if you get lost anywhere in here or you're creating content, I frequently do this. I just go back home. The home button takes you to the front page of your class. And this is a place where you come back to, and then you can re-go back out again if you get lost and you aren't sure where you are. So home button, really important, just like when we're looking at the global navigation, the dashboard, really important. All right, so now that we've gone through those, that's all we're going to talk about with your class today. But I do want to talk with you about two different tools. And these tools are really, really important for online learning, in particular where we are today, when you're working with students at home. So the first one, if you will look at your global navigation bar and you head down to Studio, let's go ahead and open that up. And there are two different places that you can find Studio. Studio in the global navigation bar. This is a studio where you're adding videos, you're creating videos, and this is for all of your classes. You will house that over here in the global navigation bar. If you go out to one of your classes, you're going to notice that you have the studio tool available also here in your class navigation. But when you click on this one in your class navigation bar, this is only going to bring up the videos that are in your class right now. So I have assigned this video to an assignment, and so it is housed here. But it's really important when you are working, when you're creating videos, when you're using this tool, make sure that you start at the global navigation bar and that you do all of your composing work in Studio out here in this area. Okay, so we're going to head back. I want to show you a little bit about this tool. This is a video recording tool. It's built right into Canvas and it is fantastic. And so you can see here, these are different videos that I have added over time. And they're simple to use. It uses the camera on your Chromebook. It uses the camera on your presentation panel back in your classroom. It uses the camera on a Chromebook. And students have access to this as well as yourself. And so when you're thinking about your students and you're thinking about how can you present information to them, they want to probably see your smiling face. They see your smiling face every day in class. I bet they would love to see you every day in Canvas. This is the tool to do it. And tomorrow I will show you how you can take a video that you have created and you can add that to announcements. So every day you can come on and say, hey, good morning. And you can talk to them like you would if you were in class. If you say a joke every day at the beginning of class, say a joke on one of these videos. So this is a really important tool, and you can add any of these videos that you create. You can add them into announcements. You can add them into assignments. Students can create videos in this way, and they can add them into an assignment they're turning into you. So, so one of the most important features that I think we're going to use the most of while we're using Canvas with our students right now. All right, enough about that. Let me show you how this is going to work. So if you are going to record yourself and you just want to record a video, I strongly suggest you do this. I know it's stepping out of comfort zone for many of you, but again, it's best for our students. They want to see you. They want to hear your voice. And so practice this. You can practice many times over. Okay, so in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see the record button. If you click on that, it's going to give you two options. Today, we're going to talk about the webcam capture. Tomorrow, we'll talk about the screen capture because it's a little bit more detailed. Tomorrow or maybe on Wednesday, it depends on how much time we have. So, but for today, we're going to do the webcam capture. So you're going to go ahead and click on that, and notice it opens up a recording box for you. You're going to go ahead and click on the little box. You're going to start recording, and it's going to count down for you. And I'm not going to do this because I have a feeling that since my camera's already being used in Screencastify, it won't record me again here. You're going to go ahead and start recording. And after you start recording, when you're finished, there's going to be a stop button, and then it is going to give you an option to replay it back. So you can play it back again and see if that's what you wanted. It's going to give you an option to save. And so if you like it, you can save it, or it's going to give you another option to retake. So once you're finished, I would suggest saving it. Come out here. It takes a few minutes for it to process, depending on how long your video is. But once you've processed it, then you're going to end up with it here in a tile. And so what I would like for you to do right now is to go ahead and practice a recording. So give it a try, pause this video and give this a try and see how it works for you. And when you're finished, unpause the video and let's continue. Okay, so now that you have your tiles in here, you have several different options. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and one of them is to replace the thumbnail. This video right here was pretty bad, so it's going to bring up some options for you. You can replace the thumbnail. You can also click on here and you can delete that. So practice this a lot so that you feel comfortable in front of the camera. I strongly suggest you not use scripts. Your students want to see the real you. They want to see the person that they see in class every day. But when you're finished, you can go ahead and delete that if you're tired of, if you just want to get rid of the ones you've been practicing with. So your task, and this is a task for this class's assignment, is to go ahead and put a video in here and keep that video in here. A couple of suggestions. You could start off with a welcoming message to students. You could give a lesson. Let me say that when you're giving lessons for students, best practice for online learning for kids, in particular younger students, but even up through high school, is 5 to 10 minute video clips. And that's probably the max that you should give a student to be able to do in one sitting. So small is definitely better so that you hold their attention and you get the content across that you want to get out. Several short videos is better than one really long video for our students. We definitely aren't practicing that right now, are we? So anyway, another suggestion might be reading a book to your students. So grab a book, sit down, and you can hold your book out here. Hold a book out and read that book to your students so that they're seeing the pages and you're reading aloud to them. They would love that, even if they're in 12th grade. Read a couple of pages of something to them. So anyway, that's an assignment. So if you would pause this video and practice now making some more recordings for yourself doing that. Okay, so continuing on, there's one more feature that I want to show you with the Studio tool, and that is if you go to the Add button up here on the top right, this is so fantastic. You can add in a YouTube video right here, and then it's going to keep it in your studio so that you can quickly attach it to assignments within Canvas. Let me show you how this is going to work. So we're going to go ahead and go out and open a new tab. Let's go out to YouTube. And let's go ahead and let's grab something on Sphero. So I'm going to grab this video. And I'm going to go ahead and I can either click in the address bar to copy it, or sometimes you will see a share option down here, which gives you the share link. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to head back to my studio tool. I'm going to click on add, and I'm going to paste Command C, Control C, Control V, how you can copy and paste. I'm going to add that. And now you can see up here that quick and easy, there's that video, and it's been added into my studio course just from a link. This will make it really easy for you if you want to add in videos to announcements or to class assignments. It's right here. So tomorrow we're going to talk about some more ideas for announcements, but if you want to give some background knowledge to your students on the topic they're going to be learning about that day, you can add a YouTube video right here. We can add this into an announcement, and that's the first thing that students see. They look at the announcement, they get the background knowledge, and then you can move right into your lesson. And that way you know everybody has the same content. So I would like for you to practice that as well. So before you're done today, if you would make sure that you have put at least one video recording of yourself and adding at least one video of your YouTube, of a YouTube video into here. So you've practiced both of those. Awesome. Thank you. Isn't this a great tool? And wait till you see, it is so easy to add any of these videos into your class assignments. And look how simple that was. So simple for kids to also be able to record themselves in the same way. Okay, so that's the studio tool. We're going to head back out. I'm going to show you one more tool today. I'm sorry, I think this probably is going a little longer than we want it to go. All right, so we're going to head out here and over to our dashboard. And in our dashboard now, we're going to head back to our class. So this was my DN class. Yours will say your name, sandbox class. Go ahead and open this up. And when you go to the class navigation bar, one of the items you're going to see in here is Britannica School. And I want to draw your attention to this tool because this is available for all students. It is embedded right into Canvas. And this is a really, really rich research tool, learning tool that's available to all of our students. You can go ahead. So this is, if I was doing this through a student view, it happens exactly the same. So students will do the same thing. Let's go ahead and click on elementary. And when you go to the opening page, I'm going to spend like 2 minutes showing you this. There's so much more than this, but let's go ahead. Let's look at bridges. And so the first thing that happens when I open this up, you'll notice there's a tab over here on articles. So it brings up pre-vetted articles on bridges. And if you will notice at the top, because I went in at the elementary level, here's level 1. And so these are, when you go and open these articles, these are in small little tiny chunks of information for students. They click on the next one and it brings up a little bit more and a little bit more. So to make it easy for students to be able to access this information. Now, if you click over here to level 2, we're still in articles. This is going to take you to the middle school level. And so these are going to give you some articles that probably have a little bit more information in them. But you'll be able to open these up and you can see now that the content is no longer in small little chunks. So different levels that you can look at right here. Continuing down the sidebar, you're going to notice on this same topic of bridges, here we have images of bridges. So students, if they're looking for images that have been vetted that they can use, they're copyright free, all they have to do is give credit to Britannica. They can use any of these videos or images. Videos, same thing. They have videos in here. Look at this. They have a video on Galloping Gertie. This is really fun to watch. So from way back in 1940. Here's a definition. So if a student is looking something up, they don't know the definition. Magazine articles. And finally, down here, the web's best sites. These are vetted sites. So right now in particular, when our students are at home and we don't know what they're looking at, it's hard for us to help them search for information. These are vetted sites. So when they come out here, they are guaranteed that they're going to have some good articles already predetermined on their topic. So I strongly suggest using this tool with kids, and you can quickly make assignments where you're attaching this information in. Finally, at the bottom, if you're interested in looking at lesson plans, those are there for you as well. Okay, I want to draw your attention really quick one more time out here to, let's go to level 2, and let's take a look back at this article. There are different reading levels embedded into the articles, but there are also tools across the top. And so when you hover over them, you can see what they are. Quickly cite your source. There's a translation tool here. It's not exactly right on, but it uses Google Translate, I believe. But fabulous for helping students or parents who would like to see this in a different language. Also, you can listen.
Born 1954. A venomous mob of white racists screamed.
So some great options for students who need to be able to access information in a different way. Anyway, what I would like for you to do, I'm going to head back here, is take a look at Britannica right now, and look at some of the tools, some of the ways, maybe research something that you would have your students research at home. Built-in tool right here into Canvas. And I think it's going to be really helpful when you're creating lesson plans for your students online. So your last task of the day, if you would go back to the document that we created, and if you would go ahead underneath the picture that you inserted, if you would add just like 2 or 3 sentences about how you think you might be able to use Britannica online with your students. And then that is going to be our learning for today. So just very quickly in summary, I want to bring you back to our global navigation bar. This is for all of your Canvas courses. This is the work you're going to see here. Dashboard. When you click on this, this takes you back to your tiles. And this is how you would access your class. On the right-hand column at the bottom of your sidebar, this is where you're going to see Start a New Course, which we did today. And then once you have started a new course, you can click Enter Your Course. You're going to see your class navigation tools over here. At the bottom is where you will see settings. When you go into your settings, that's where you can adjust these tools. That's where you can change the tile picture. And then on the right-hand column over here is Student View, so that you can see what your students see. When you're using Studio Tool, make sure you use the Studio Tool that's available in the global navigation bar. You're just going to click on it. It brings up all the videos that you have created or that you have brought in. If you have things embedded on your computer, you can bring them into your Studio Tool. And so this is where you're going to add these features. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how you can integrate this into a lesson and into an announcement. So that is taking the fear out of Canvas for today. Again, I want to draw your attention to this afternoon from 1 to 1:45, and again from 2 to 2:45. Niall will be having live sessions to help you. So if there's anything today that you weren't sure about, you have questions about, please join him. I'll have the links at the bottom of this newsletter. Just click on the link during that time period. You can go in and ask him a quick question if you have questions. All right. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for this journey into Canvas. You're really going to love this tool, and so are your students. I'll see you tomorrow.